Judge Jikoku, let me remind you of something you said only a few minutes ago. You claimed that logical reasoning is the future of the judicial process. It is, no question. Well, logical reasoning can prove something here. Namely, that it would have been impossible for Prosecutor Azuki to commit the crime. What? The court will only accept an argument that is supported by compelling evidence. So present what you have, counsel. What proof is there that allegedly demonstrates the impossibility of Prosecutor Azuki's involvement? Has it something to do with the sword? But why would it? A passport document. Why did he went with Tobias Gregson in the first place? Clint Van Zieks. Clint Van Zieks is completely irrelevant here. The thing here, what significance does it have? I don't even know. I can't form any logical conclusions here. Autopsy report. Shot in the chest at close range from the front. Standard issue firearms for members of the judiciary. What? I have no idea. The murder weapon? Have we inspected this before? So this is the type of revolver that's standard issue for the judiciary. Yes, when I ask about whether records are kept about who they issued to, I was told that for the past 5 years they've been engraved with a unique serial number. Oh, but as far as I can tell, there's nothing like that on this gun. Which tells us that it must have been issued longer ago than that. Aha!
Take that!
You're making the evidence weep here, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Sorry? Every piece of evidence has a role to play in arriving at the truth. They're not playthings you can toss around. Wait! Wait! Never mind the evidence. You're about to make me weep, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh no, I can't upset Asata-san. We know a member of the crew was on sentry duty outside the first-class cabins nearly all the time. So as long as the guard was there, it would have been impossible to fire a shot. Oh, that's true. And that very much narrows down when the crime could have been committed. Wow, thanks for spelling it out for me, game. The court will only accept an argument that is supported by compelling evidence. Yeah, I thought this was for sure. I mean, this could not have belonged to Kazuma. I guess this is not enough of a reason. The evacuation drill is at 10 PM and will take 20 minutes. Does Azuki Kazuma have an alibi? I don't think so. Does he have an alibi? Did he leave before 10 p.m.? I don't have evidence of that. What? The sword? But we have already inspected everything. Oh, the autopsy report, of course. Hold on. When did he die? Indeterminate. But when did he... yeah, of course. Indeterminate. Wait, that is not correct. No. We don't know when he died. That's the whole point. Oh my god, I need to save here. I'm hanging by a thread. There's a timing issue? A member of the crew was on sentry duty. The crime could have been committed 10 p.m. till 20 minutes later. Crown. Oh, what does the clock read? No idea, because it didn't stop because it was broken when he was murdered, but it stopped because he didn't wind up. Glass is cracked. Sholmes could repair it. Okay, that's completely irrelevant. Huh. What? 10 p.m. in order to review evacuation procedures. Apparently, Mr. Azuki described it as the only weapon I have left. This is completely irrelevant here, is it? Okay, I have no idea why Kasumi is not involved in this. I have no idea. I need to look it up. Ah, okay. Wait. When did the ship leave port? Okay, it doesn't say. It doesn't say, but apparently we will present the evacuation drill itinerary.
Take that!
This itinerary for crew members of the SS Grouse, my lord. This is conclusive proof. An itinerary? How does that prove anything? Judge Jigoku, the moment you acknowledged that you found the victim's body in your cabin, this itinerary suddenly became much more significant.
What? Why?
On the night in question, as always, a crewman sentry was on guard outside your cabin door. As long as he was there, nobody could have fired a shot inside the cabin. Absolutely, because it's inconceivable that a guard wouldn't have heard it and come to investigate. So that tells us that a crime must have taken place when the guard was elsewhere. And that narrows it down to the 20 minutes just after 10 o'clock as indicated on an itinerary. Yes, I see no flaw in your reasoning so far. But why do you think the ship already left port? At 10 p.m. I don't see that. But the crucial point is this: when the evacuation drill took place, the steamship had already put to sea from the port of Dunkirk.
Oh!
Now, clearly the murder could only have been committed by somebody who was aboard the vessel at the time. But Prosecutor Azuki stated in yesterday's proceedings, I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life, so I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. Which I'm sure the court will agree is conclusive proof. Wait, this is... How am I supposed to know when the ship went away? How am I supposed to know that? I have no way of knowing this. Which I'm sure is conclusive proof that Kazuma Azuki couldn't possibly have carried out a killing.
Hold it! No, absolutely not. I don't accept that at all.
What do you mean?
The boys just say that to exonerate himself, we can't trust that he really disembarked the vessel. Obviously, after he left my cabin, he hid himself somewhere nearby on the ship. And just waiting for his chance to come back and finish the...
No, that's out of the question. Isn't it, Kazuma? As the defense rightly recalls, I disembarked the vessel and spent the night in a boarding house in Dunkirk. And as I said yesterday, I signed my name in the accommodations register book. All extremely easy to verify and undeniable proof.
Oh, no,
There's no escape this time. You can forget that you are a judge or a government minister. It's time you gave the court an honest answer as a common man. Holy crap, we're currently undermining the whole Japanese government. This is crazy. You killed Inspector Tobias Gregson and transported his corpse back to Britain. Then you dumped the body in the room on Fresno Street and made it look as if the murder had happened there. That's what really happened, isn't it? Seishiro Jigoku?
It was that damned trial 10 years ago. That's when it all began. Looking back now, my fate was decided that day. I was doomed already. It's over. My life is over.
A British assassin to eliminate a professor in Japan. A Japanese assassin to eliminate a detective in Britain. Honestly, I don't know what I expected, but I expected like a more elaborate breakdown. That was too simplistic and unsatisfying.
Both assassins will use diplomatic immunity to evade conviction and return safely to their homelands. The assassin exchange request arrived from Britain about 1 year ago. Though it was hardly a request, it was a demand.
And for that, you decided to recruit Mr. Azuki?
But things didn't go according to plan.
Oh, but things didn't go according to plan. Your chosen assassin never made it to Britain. And you found yourself unable to dispatch a replacement. Because I was already on my way to Britain at that time in Kazuma's place.
And that left me with only one option for carrying out my obligation. To eliminate the mark myself, personally.
Oh yeah, back then he didn't know that Kazuma survived. So he took matters into his own hands.
Of course, there was but a single opportunity for me to do that.
The International Forensic Science Symposium, I presume?
That's right. I decided it would be safest to carry out a plan before my arrival in Britain. So I enlisted the help of my British counterpart and made arrangements for a pretext that would take the inspector to Dunkirk. To lure the man in, he was given a sham mission by the Reaper.
What? The Reaper? But there's only one person who could have done that. The mastermind of the entire operation. The Reaper himself. So, that means that the assassin exchange was... It was all planned by the Reaper? That can't be.
I'm not at liberty to say anything about my British counterpart. Anyway, the inspector accepted the Reaper's mission and dutifully infiltrated my cabin on a steamship. But it was all a trap designed to lead him to France and his own death.
Oh, how awful.
It was past 9 o'clock when I returned to my cabin from the dining hall that evening. I didn't give him time to attack me. I choked him until he lost consciousness. But there was a guard just outside the door, so I left it at that for the time being. Even the slightest noise might have aroused suspicion, so I bided my time waiting.
For the 20 minutes after 10 o'clock.
I had intended to finish him by strangulation, but moments before I had a chance.
Yeah, why didn't you finish him by strangulation?
He suddenly came round and went for me in a reckless move.
Wow.
I'd received a British issue gun 16 years earlier, being a member of the judiciary as a visiting student.
You got a gun? As a visiting student? Are they alright?
I never imagined I'd have to use it for something like that.
How could you give a gun to a visiting student? This is completely irresponsible. So the revolver belongs to you, does it? Then the victim was killed inside your cabin on the SS Grouse, which begs the question of why you arranged for his body to be discovered in the room on Fresno Street.
The young judicial assistant over there has already answered that question. There was no way I could take the body up on deck to throw it over the side. That's precisely where all the crewmen were gathered for the evacuation drill. So before the first-class cabin sentries returned, I took the corpse to the refrigeration room.
And then on arriving in Dover, you concealed the body in your trunk in order to smuggle it past the border police.
I knew I needed to take steps if the police were to be convinced when the body was found in London.
In that case, you must have known. You must have had intimate details of Inspector Gregson's intended schedule.
Yes, my British counterpart sent me everything I needed to know. The inspector was due at Fresno Street at 5 o'clock that afternoon, in order to meet a man by the name of Hugh Boone, from whom he would take back his police identification.
He knew about that too.
I decided that man would be the perfect person to set up as the culprit, so I took the Hackney carriage over there with the body still in my trunk.
That must have been just after we took this photograph with you at the hotel then.
Yes, I wasn't expecting a welcoming committee. I was more than a little nervous. On Fresno Street, I spotted a young girl selling little firecrackers.
Miss Venus, of course.
I conceived of a candle trick there and then, so I donned a simple disguise and approached the girl to buy enough firecrackers to replicate a gunshot.
What sort of disguise?
For some reason the inspector had a bright red hairpiece in his own traveling case, so I put that on, although I suspect I drew more attention to myself in that than I would have otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, your beard and your hair color does not match, first of all. Okay, that's not too weird, but it just doesn't fit on an Asian, like on an East Asian person, red hair. The hairpiece we found at the scene. The inspector had it ready for the red-headed leak investigation.
I only arrived at the room at around 4:45, so I quickly placed the body on the floor, moved the notice board and set up my little candle trick. I arranged it so the firecrackers would go off with a bang around 15 minutes later.
So that Mr. Boone, who was due to arrive at 5, would walk straight into a trap.
Except at the last moment, I made a careless blunder.
What was that? I imagine it was the bag of fish and chips.
I didn't notice that it had fallen out of his overcoat pocket when I moved the body to the refrigeration room. I put it back into his pocket the following morning, but... well, it seems the warmth of the heated cabin had accelerated the decay of the fish.
That's why Dr. Gorey said had doubts about the time of death.
Anyway, that's everything. All the sordid details of what I did.
I've heard enough. We've arrived at the truth about the murder of one of the country's most capable and respected police inspectors. The witness will be tried in the coming days. For a crime of such a vile nature, you can expect the most severe penalty. Death sentence. But he has immunity, doesn't he? An exchange of assassins. What a foolhardy idea. Mr. Jigoku, one last detail. Who was your counterpart in Britain? Who was the mastermind behind the assassin exchange? And he must be the real Reaper, right? Because only the real Reaper could give out missions to Gregson, right? And know the intimate details about how Gregson created false alibis with Hugh Boone. Nothing you say now can make matters any worse for you. Just tell us.
Enough!
Whoa.
I've already told you that I cannot say.
Even though as things stand, you may very well never set foot in your homeland again.
What are you waiting for? Can't we get this over with now? It's finished, all of it. I'm finished.
Then, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I now pronounce the findings of this court. This man before us has admitted to the willful murder of Tobias Gregson. What? What is happening? This trial is about Baroque. Seishiro Jikoku, it is the opinion of this court that you should be found. But this is not the purpose of this trial. You said it yourself. His trial will be in a couple of days. But I guess Seishiro wanted him to judge him right here, right now. For some dramatic effect. Guilty. And may I remind all those present of the strict confidentiality demanded by this closed court. Moments ago, Mr. Jikoku signed a written confession, admitting to the murder of Inspector Gregson and the subsequent conveyance of the body. In short, the defendant's innocence has therefore been established beyond doubt. Oh, wonderful! Well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, sir. Thank you. Is something wrong? I'm just a little troubled by his silence. The true identity of the Reaper of the Bailey and this extraordinary assassin exchange. We do remain in the dark about these mysteries. However, insofar as the indictment brought against the defendant in this trial, we have reached a conclusion. I have every intention of pursuing both mysteries. As a prosecutor. As you wish. Now for the formal adjudication. I hereby declare the defendant Baroque van Zieks. The prosecution calls for adjudication to be deferred. Counsel? The accused's innocence hasn't been fully established at all. What? And therefore, it would be wrong to deliver a verdict at this time. But we have the murderer already, a written confession and stuff. What? That is the prosecution's unwavering position. Also, Lord Van Zieks was at a gentleman's club at the time in question, whereas Gregson was now killed on the SS Grouse. What the heck are you talking about? What? But Judge Jikoku has already confessed. Nevertheless, Baroque Van Zieks has committed crimes for which he must be punished. Okay, then make another trial, please. Well, it would appear you have information that the court needs to hear, Prosecutor Azuki. Or are you wasting this court's time? Certainly, the murder of Inspector Gregson was actually carried out by Seishiro Jikoku, and that's exactly what this trial is about. But it's clear from the witness's testimony that he was coerced into complying with the plot, into the sick, merciless assassin exchange. That may be true, but so what I want to know is who coerced Jikoku, who was pulling the strings? The victim went to France having been ordered on a mission for the Reaper, only to be murdered. In other words, the mastermind behind the assassin exchange is someone in a position to give such an order. As we've already established, the Reaper himself. Well, certainly, that would appear to follow. The prosecution hereby formally accuses the man in the dark, Baruch van Zieks, of being the Reaper of the Bailey, and furthermore, I'm going to prove his guilt beyond all reasonable doubt. What? Order! Order! The Reaper of the Bailey is a long-standing mystery, Counsel. Are you suggesting you have some new information with which to build a case? Scotland Yard has already investigated Lord Van Zieks very thoroughly in that regard, and they found no evidence whatsoever to substantiate the claim that he is the Reaper. Perhaps, but circumstances have now changed. What do you mean? It's already been established that the assassin exchange was negotiated with Jigoku by the Reaper himself, which means we now have a new line of questioning by which to identify definitively the man's identity. That is the prosecution's intention here. I must say I'm surprised by quite how tenaciously you appear to want to besmirch my name. You are guilty of an unforgivable crime, Lord Van Zieks. And I will bring you to justice for it, whatever it takes. It almost sounds like he's talking about the death of his father here. That explains Kazuma's silence before. He'll stop at nothing to finish what Lord Van Zieks unwittingly started 10 years ago. Very well, whilst it's extremely irregular, I will on this occasion grant the prosecution further opportunity for witness testimony. The defendant will disclose any and all involvement he has had with the Reaper and the assassin exchange. I thank you, my lord, for guiding the court so wisely. I hereby declare this court to be in session for supplementary hearing. Could we do this in another day? Oh ho ho! Pray turn a blind eye to the discourtesy as I verify this vile and unremitting accusation. Hasn't soured the contents of my hallowed chalice. What? Oh, it has. You verified that it hasn't soured the contents? Okay. Lord Van Zieks? I first had to suffer the pseudonym of the Reaper 10 years ago now, and ever since that time I've endured the weight of implied guilt that's gone with it. So I welcome the chance to testify now and crush those allegations once and for all. Good. Then I'll let justice decide, Lord Van Zieks. The prosecution seeks to begin building its case by calling the accused to the stand as the primary witness. Do you want to take a day or two? You just build a case ad hoc like that? In order that he may answer the accusation brought by the prosecution that he is the Reaper of the Bailey. And what says the defense? Putting the defendant in the witness stand can be extremely dangerous, and Kazuma-sama is so emotional at the moment, he's not thinking logically. You're right that he's not himself, but I knew it would be like this, and I came here today determined to face him through whatever might arise, as a lawyer, and as his friend. Then that's what we must do. The defense has no objection, my lord. Very well. Defendant, you will take the witness stand and give formal testimony on the subject of your involvement with the Reaper. and the assassin exchange. As you wish, my lord.